When you're craving something rich and chocolatey, nothing hits the spot like brownies. They are amazing. And today I'm going to show you the easiest way I know to make them at home. So stick around for this one. Hello and welcome to my handmade lifestyle. I'm Patty and I go by Patty Mac Makes everywhere online. On this channel, we bake, we make, we garden, we do all those really fun things that you would have done in your home ec class if you'd had a home ec class. But you probably didn't get to have that, so now you can. Today we're going to use Ghirardelli to make brownies. These are amazing. And all you need is the mix and 1 egg, a little oil, and some water. If you don't have the oil, you could use melted butter, but this just calls for grapeseed oil. Well, it calls for oil. I always use grapeseed. I don't know what the hang up on using a mix is about. Yes, it is nice to be able to bake from scratch. I bake a lot of stuff from scratch. Sometimes I want it to be easy, and a mix is essentially foolproof. If you measure the wet ingredients like you're supposed to and you mix it all up like the box tells you to do, it's gonna bake and it's gonna be amazing. All right, let's jump in and I'll show you exactly how I made these. Here are the ingredients for today's box mix brownie hack recipe. Say that 3 times fast. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Ghirardelli mix. I think it's really good. I like dark chocolate. That's what we got. So we're going to start with that Ghirardelli mix, and to that we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water and a 1/2 cup of oil. And you can see that I've measured the 2 liquid components out together in the wet measure that's in the back of the frame right here. And you can see that oil is just sitting on top of the water. So we're going to make sure that we thoroughly mix that before we add anything in. We have 1 egg that is room temperature, and those are all of the ingredients that the mix itself calls for. It wouldn't be a box mix hack if we didn't add a little something to it. And all good home cooks, we always doctor up whatever the mix is. This is how I doctor up my box brownies. So down in the lower right, you'll see that little pinch bowl with a brown powder. That is espresso powder, and it just makes the chocolate sing. Anytime you mix a little coffee with your dark chocolate, it's going to sing. And the little pinch bowl with the blue cat, I've got a teaspoon of clear vanilla. You can use any vanilla that you like or none at all, but I'm popping in that teaspoon of clear vanilla. Oh, and I should say 2 teaspoons on the espresso powder. And then in the middle, the star of our show, well, the understudy, I guess, to the actual brownie mix is 7 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I like the semi-sweet mixed with that dark chocolate. So that's all of our ingredients. Over here, I have an 8x8 pan. The instructions are for either an 8x8 or a 9x9. Personally, I like the 8x8 because it gives a thicker brownie. And I have lined my pan with parchment. So when I make brownies, I get out the parchment, I crumple it all up, and I fit it into the pan. And then the brownie batter will go right on top of the parchment, and the oven is well preheated to 325. Let's talk about how we're going to mix this, because you're going to love this. It's really easy. Now I'm going to use my stand mixer because I love my stand mixer. First, what I'm going to do is to put in that oil and water. And I'm going to go ahead and let the paddle attachment mix that a little bit and just incorporate those 2 elements as best as possible. And then we're going to pop in the vanilla, and then we're going to pop in the egg and get all of the wet ingredients well incorporated. When that's looking all good and mixed up, what we're going to do is stop the mixer, put the beater up, and then we're going to dump in our dry ingredients, which in this case is our brownie mix. And we're going to go ahead and put in the espresso powder. And then we're going to return the paddle attachment to the mixing bowl and run this just until it starts to come together, and just mix on low. Anytime you're adding your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients, you want to like do that with a light hand. Don't put it on high and whip the daylights out of it. You'll just wind up with a tough bake, and that's not what we're going for. We don't want any gluten development, so just take it really easy on that mixing. It's going to look pretty well combined, and then what we're going to do is scrape the sides down really well. We're going to get all underneath of where the paddle attachment was to make sure everything is incorporated. Then we're going to pour in those chocolate chips, and we're just going to gently fold them in. Super easy. Just get them mixed in there, combined. This particular mix already comes with some chocolate chips, but you know, I'm extra, so I add a little extra. You can never go wrong with a little extra chocolate. Okay, then we're going to pop this into that prepared baking pan, and then we're going to put it into the oven. And for the 8x8 metal pan, it calls for a 40-minute bake time. So let's pop it in. We're going to set the timer for 40 minutes, and then we're going to check. And you know, brownies can be a little tricky because you kind of don't want them over baked. You want them to be just a little bit underdone in the middle. So you're gonna want to practice with these a little bit and get your feel for them. But check them at 40 minutes. If they seem way underdone, then you might want to go another couple of minutes and check them again. But don't over bake them. They're not supposed to be totally baked through like a cake. They are supposed to seem a little undone in the middle. So go ahead and pull them out. You can't really use the tester on brownies because it's going to come back looking like that they're not done, but you just have to believe and trust the process. So let them cool. I give them a couple of minutes in the pan, and then I can use that parchment to remove them by those little dog ears on the sides, pull them out, and then I put them up onto that cooling rack and let them cool. And they cool really quickly on the rack, and just give them a chance to set up, and then slice and enjoy. Honest to goodness, these brownies are amazing. I mean amazing. You do want to slightly underbake them. If you slightly underbake them, that's how you get the super fudgy, melt in your mouth chocolate extravaganza. It's unbelievable. It's so good. Really, I don't know what you're waiting for. This is home cooking. This is home baking. We are home bakers. We are not trying to be a fancy New York restaurant. We're trying to be a home baker that just bakes the best stuff that we can. And if you follow what I did, I think you're just gonna have your doors blown off. So, all right, try the brownies, come back to me, let me know what you think, and that's what I got for you. That's today's video, and I always appreciate you hanging out. It's always good to see you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Do yourself a favor and make these. Please make these. I know people are starting to talk about quarantine diets. We may never leave our homes again. Why would you want to be stuck at home and dieting?